Someone who wants to comment about the scenarios?
First observation is that I think a lot of us agree on the education part in a wide sense. Okay, so schooling, training, an exchange of competence between people clearly seems to be a very high priority that we all agree with. I noted some other points. Okay, I think in one of the presentations there was the rent versus the buy business model, and I think. Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting idea, but I think the economics should be looked at because it seems to be a shift from one organization providing the money to another organization providing the money, and I think it has deep economic consequences. So it's an interesting idea, and I think it should certainly be looked at. There is also the point of whether this favors big companies over small companies or not. So it would be nice to look at that if somebody could study that a bit further. And then as a European, I really like that we fight bureaucracy with bureaucracy. I really like that, and I think Americans would say we just abolished the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, I can imagine. But in Europe we cannot do that, and we need a ministry of abolishment or something, or a ministry. In Italy, had a minister to reduce the number of laws, I think. So it's deregulation. It was called. I think this is very, I think, very, very European. But it also, I think, is a good symbol of the fact that in Europe we always think that public authorities have an important role to play. And the problem is that public authorities often are not up to that. I hope nobody's going to shoot me for this, but this is a real issue. That is, our politicians seem to be busy with many things, but not forward-looking and not providing the infrastructure in a wide sense, including the education and including the research and including the infrastructure in terms of trains and airports, etc., that you need to keep a competitive industry. Okay, sorry. A final comment, if I may. That is the, I also noted that not many, I think in a number of presentations it comes back in a hidden form, and that is the, how should I call it, the inconsistency of organizations and people, okay? We very often find ourselves in a dilemma between a professional working for an organization doing something and at the same time is a consumer. Okay, the usual saying is if you work for Fiat, you should buy a Fiat. Okay, if not, then you undermine your job. Now, of course, you could, well, I could say you could buy an Alfa Romeo, but it's the same thing. You could buy Ford if you agree with the neighbor that he works for Ford, buys a Fiat, okay? But if both of you buy a Japanese car or a Korean car, you create a problem. And, there may be a benefit in price or in other things, but longer term, this is not going to work. And companies do exactly the same thing, huh? They preach one thing, but when they buy things from contractors, they do not necessarily apply the same rules. Okay, I've said it.
I actually wanted to just bounce back on two of your comments, which I find very, very interesting. Well, first regarding the product as a service, and then the retraining people. Just two experiences that we've been involved in recently. So regarding product, renting rather than selling, we've been involved in a project in France recently, where there was a product manufacturer that wanted to do this. And they couldn't because the remanufacturing process was too difficult and it was a manual production task. So they actually implemented collaborative robotics, and this allowed them to actually put people on the task before the workers were actually refusing to do the remanufacturing, because that led to muscle disorders straight away, and a retirement age of less than 35. And now they managed, and they're rolling out a rental process for people to rent instead of buying. And we've actually seen the opposite experience regarding training and training for new competencies. And I'd say that we also need to look carefully at the economics. We ran a scheme in France recently to try and retrain automobile workers into aeronautics. And that involved looking at common skills and seeing what actual jobs they could do in the other industry. And I think from a pool of several thousand candidates, only 6 were actually retrained in this particular scheme, purely because everyone refused to move to the region where the aeronautics industry is more present in France. So it wasn't the actual skills, but the economics of moving from one place to the other and even affording a house in the other place.
I would encourage someone who has not talked, and or other we ask a non-European perspective from our unique guest that has stayed, and maybe afterwards someone from the public administration, because there were a lot of expectations and concern. So maybe a couple of words afterwards, if you don't mind. Okay.
Thank you. It's Professor Wagil Maragi from University of Windsor in Canada. First of all, thank you for the invitation, and I found this very interesting today. The other thing is we're talking Europeans, Americans, and other countries. I think we're all becoming Americans without knowing it, because one comment is that draw my attention is the title of the workshop, manufacturing. Manufacturing in North America means everything from conception to design to planning to production to service. And what happens on the shop floor, we call it production. Now in Europe, it was the other way around. As production was what we call manufacturing, and manufacturing is what we call production. But I think today I notice, and it was not discussed, that you are already using the American definition of manufacturing. I don't know exactly when that changed, but I think so we are already beginning to harmonize the American way, and everybody is wearing blue jeans in general, you know. That also comes from you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think terminology is very important, and I think it was obvious that that's what you meant, but I think it needs to be defined. Something that Group 6 focused on a lot, and I think it may have been mentioned by some of the other groups, but not maybe so much, is the concept of innovation, continuous innovation. So I think at every level, at the individual level, at society level, at organization level. So I think this is really important. But other than that, there were a lot of commonalities in terms of what the various reports are. And what would be very interesting is to kind of compile all these 10 presentations into one that is harmonized, that includes all the things that were said in Group 6.
Our representative from the region.
No, for province of Milan, yes, is a smaller institution, a smaller institution. Yes, I think that we are very interested in the strength of manufacturing for the local areas. And for example, for our point of view, for the large urban area, for example, in Milan and its province, I think that, the benefit we can capture from manufacturing is the combination of manufacturing with other industries, for example, creative industries and technology and emerging industries. So the new industries that use technology combined with traditional industries. So we are very interested on how to capitalize this important contribute that manufacturing can give to the economic growth at a local level and at a national level. And we think that the importance of ecosystem is the main factor of in this moment of an economic productive system. This is important because we can act in this environment and so we can improve the single elements in this environment to make important benefits and advantages for our economies. So we can I would like to enlighten the presentation of the sixth group, the importance of social the social tools and technology, the technologies that can improve a lot our economy. So this is our interest, and my compliments for the products and for the discussion is very effective for our economies. Thank you very much.
Just a short comment. I would like to congratulate you for the workshop and thank all the organizers for doing that. And I wish you good luck for the gold washing. If you look through all the arguments that are on the table today, you will find a lot of gold.
From the industry without any knowledge in this in these arguments here. So I think that one of the things that is the underlining in everything that we say today is the perhaps that we not touch directly is the awareness in terms of every subject here. So we spoke about being a worker and being a customer. We have to increase the awareness as a customer, and we increase the awareness as a worker. We have to know which is our part in all the system from every aspect. So as a worker, perhaps I think that too often we do not know exactly what we are doing in our factory, in our society. So perhaps these things is also, I think that the main goal is to increase the awareness. That means also increase knowledge, increase everything that is needed to understand and to improve.
I'm wondering if we have an economist here from Bocconi University. She might be able to add some comment maybe on the results of the scenario, or on the day, or on the themes, as you like.
Of course, I think that also the economic, I mean, if you talk about social sustainability, then you know that to be social sustainable, you must be also environmental sustainable, otherwise you are not social sustainable. But then we had a discussion that in order to be social sustainability and environmental sustainability, you must be also economic sustainability. So really, it's very difficult to disentangle the three aspects. And that's why really we have to talk about sustainability in general by always remembering that it's the three aspects can be, you can be economic, okay, if you maximize your profit, you are economic sustainable. That is one thing that you can do without being social and environmental sustainable. But if you want to combine all three and to be truly sustainable, and that's why our discussion kept very long, because we started from the macro picture about global competition and how to face the global competition, and as well as try to be social sustainable. While at least at the moment, to be social sustainable and environmental sustainable means also that you have to face higher cost. So then it's a matter of how to, and that's why we said we need at the beginning, not at the beginning, also by 2030, we need to have, first of all, financial institutions that are more concerned about long-term goal and not only short-termism, short-term. And so happy to lend money also to companies with a long-term perspective. And then we need to have also, that was one of the points that she pointed out, to have the society more concerned about social value and environmental value. And we thought that to have to use more social networks and the possibility to have really people saying, people in the sense, both consumers and workers, in really judging their own companies or on the companies that are selling products. So that was the idea, how to force, not how to force, how to make more important the social and environmental aspect when now it's more costly. And you must have consumer workers happier and also the financial institution at least, then the legal side and also. Otherwise, the economic part is difficult because the costs are important.
Thank you very much.